Hello and welcome to Stubbsy Travels. So we're doing something a little bit different tonight. The Thailand trip is well and truly over, as I'm sure you're aware. We've been back a good few weeks now, and what I wanted to do was really just give an overview, a recap of the holiday, you know, talk about the different elements and the different, from the flights, from the transfers, from the food, from the drink, from the hotels. And if anyone's thinking of either traveling over to Thailand or if you've been, drop a comment in the chat and we'll see if we can get some Q&A going as well. So I'm basically just going to give an overview of, like I said, what we did and how we did it and what we've learned from our trips over to Thailand. So we've done two now and spent around about 6 weeks in total in Thailand. We've definitely learned from our experiences, and that saved us time, that saved us money. And one of my previous videos was I did 5 top tips to save you money. Well, that was out there, and I've had some nice comments on that with regards to people who have maybe taken a few little bits on board and whatever it may be. So it's nice to be able to help. Now, what I am going to say is I am not no expert. I'm just giving you my honest opinion, my honest answer, and my to anything that you might ask. It's not necessarily going to be, something that everyone will agree with, because different people have had different experiences. But all I can do is just give you my overview of what I've experienced in the 6 weeks we were over in Thailand, as a holiday. Must stress that as well. We weren't having a prolonged stay over there. They were just 2 separate holidays, which, as I say, 3 weeks each, which was just about the right amount of time. So that's what the sort of the idea of this live is. And if people do have questions, please drop them in the chat. It'd be great to see if we can get some comments going. But what I'll start to do is just give you an overview of where we were at, what we did, and things like that. So let's take it right back to the very, very start. So booking the flights. So we've actually traveled with 2 different travel companies. We used Eva Air on our first trip over to Thailand, and we used Thai Airways on our second. And each one of them was very good, to be honest with you. The service, the quality, the actual seats, very, very similar from Thai Airways and Eva Air. The key elements were, and actually the cost was pretty similar as well, which was around about, now don't quote me 100% on this, but it was around about £700 each for me and Joe return, which included all your baggage as well. And also that was picking our seats, because I go for extra legroom seats where possible. So the only difference between Eva Air and Thai Airways, I would say, is the baggage allowance. So a baggage allowance for Eva Air, I think it was two cases, and it was a really, really good allowance. So I think it was something like 40 kilograms you could take per person on the plane. Now with Thai Airways, that was down to 23 kilograms per person. So there's a definite pro there with Eva Air over Thai Airways. However, the 23 kilograms allowance that we had with Thai Airways was actually fine in the end. We purchased quite a lot of stuff while we were out there to bring back, and we didn't have no problem. We weren't overweight or anything like that. So standard of the flights, as I said, were very similar. Food, very similar again. So it's around about, I think it's 11-hour flight going out, and it worked out around about a 12 to 13-hour flight coming back. And we opted for direct flights on both trips. We've done layovers before. And it's just really hard work regarding having a layover wherever it might be. So we opted for the direct flights, which then obviously means that there might be a little bit of cost, increase with regards to the direct flights, but we found it better. So 11 hours there, 12, 13 hours on the way back. As I say, extra legroom seats, no problems whatsoever. The only thing which was a bit of a pain on the recent flight back, and it is what it is, and you take it as it is. But we purchased the extra legroom seats, And unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunately, it's just how it is. There was a lady who was sat next to us who had a baby, and that meant that the baby's cot was literally put on front in front of us where the extra legroom seats were for the entirety of the flight. So I couldn't get in or out of the seat without disrupting the cot. So it's just something to be aware of. We actually went for two seats at the back of the plane. We chose them for our outbound trip, and that worked out better than the actual extra legroom seats. So it's not a moan. It's just telling you exactly what happens, and we certainly wouldn't consider booking them extra legroom seats again purely for that reason. Look, the baby has to sleep somewhere. The needs it's a long flight, so I absolutely get it. It's just one thing that we experienced while we were on the flight. So either Air, Thai Airways. I've heard now people saying that there's obviously there's different airlines you can choose, and I can only talk about the two that we've gone through. So that's a little bit about the flights. So that might, when you're having a look at Skyscanner or you're having a look on the individual airline websites, baggage allowance, that type of thing. And we did fly from Heathrow as well, and the times of them flights were pretty much exactly the same for both trips as well. So we normally travel on a Friday night and we leave, and I think it's around about 9:30 flights, and then on the way back we come back on a Saturday, and I think that's around about a 1:30 p.m. flight back from Bangkok into Heathrow. So that works quite well for us. One thing I will say with regards to the flights is we've used Heathrow lounge now. I think it's the Plaza Premium it's called. Each time we've gone, okay, you can get your food there, you can get your drinks there, but having now used the Miracle Lounge in Bangkok, the standard of the lounge in Heathrow compared to Bangkok, it just doesn't match at all. Yes, you can get your beers, you can get your wines, you can get whatever it might be in each one of them. But the food offering in Heathrow for the amount you're paying, I think that was £40 each, was not great. It was literally, just picky bits and what have you. So again, depending on what time you're flying, there might be a little bit of different offering when it comes to what food's there, i.e. breakfast menu, lunch menu, or evening. But the evening menu has not been great for us personally. I normally have a few drinks, and there's no problems with that whatsoever. That was fine, but the actual food menu was not great. And then if you look at when we came back in the Miracle Lounge, we obviously had the breakfast style menu, but it just felt so much better. There was no queues, we didn't have to wait for food, and we could get a seat as well. So that was one thing as well with regards to the Heathrow Lounge. You couldn't even sit down. We were literally waiting to get a seat. So I appreciate Friday nights, and we actually flew on Valentine's Day, so that might have had something to do with it being so busy. Would you save money that if you were spending that money in the actual airport itself? I don't know. I had a good few drinks, so I've probably made my money there. But Jo doesn't have a drink before she flies, so literally 40 quid for a soft drink, a coffee, and whatnot maybe doesn't work out. So just one to consider. But it is nice when the airport lounge is, I suppose, not so busy where you can sit down and just take it in rather than the hustle and bustle of the actual airport. And the price of everything at the airport, we all know, is hyped up as well. Okay, so with regards to the flights, I would definitely say, Magic Merv. Didn't know who you are. I am the management. £40, and I've got my money's worth in drinks before a flight. Yeah, I absolutely do. And but I normally have a good few beers and maybe a couple of Bloody Marys. It's a little bit of a tradition to have them. But like I said, Jo just had a coffee and a soft drink, so it's pros and cons when it comes to that. So you can get your money's worth if you're certainly going to have a few drinks. There's no doubt about that. Okay, so that's the flights pretty much covered. Like I say, Skyscanner is where we've booked it both times. We seem to have had good deals with regards to Skyscanner as well. And what it does do on that website, it gives you it sort of puts it in a red, amber, green, for costings. So if you're flexible with your travel days, you might be able to get, a couple of £100, and rather than traveling on a weekend or whatnot. And I like the way that it does that, because it gives you the option then to it gives you the option just to look where you want to travel, and if you're flexible with your days, you can save a few quid, which is good. So once you arrive in Bangkok, it is just it's just an overload on your senses. Bangkok Airport is absolutely spectacular. It's it's so modern. The decor, it's well organised. We've travelled quite a few places over the last few years. We've done India, we've done Morocco, etc., and that seems like chaos compared to Bangkok Airport. Bangkok Airport was really well managed. It was very quick, moving through the immigration, all the baggage, and just well laid out as well. So the actual transfers from Bangkok. So where I've done videos before around about Grab and Bolt. Now I don't believe Grab and Bolt can pick you up from the airport. I think that they're not actually permitted to do so. So you'll see once you get out from the airport, there's a lot of metered taxis. Uh, and you may have seen this on some of the videos. You don't just go up to a taxi. It's in a system where you collect a ticket, and that ticket will send you to a parking bay where there's a taxi waiting. It's fair. That means then that the taxi drivers pull up and they get a fair uh, chance at getting people to wherever they're going to go. So we did that on both occasions. And we've gone from Bangkok to Pattaya because we've started off our holiday in Pattaya on both occasions. And it's coming around about 1,500 baht, which is quite good. So yeah, magic move there. Yeah, it is actually fair, because there was, and I'm talking, there was like 80 or 90 bays. So they get a ticket, you just get your ticket and walk onto the bay, and then away you go, type thing. So it's quite good. There's no sort of hustle and bustle with people arguing about who was there first and what have you. So that works. And then the taxis are really, really good. From Bangkok to Pattaya was just over an hour. Very friendly, and a great service. Different sizes as well. So if you're going over as a solo traveler with one bag on your backpacking or whatever, you don't need to get one of the XXL taxis. However, we had quite a bit of luggage with us, so we went for the XXL, which was great because you could fit all the luggage in. But obviously, there's a cost as well. So if you're gonna, just have one bag, you'll be able to jump in one of them taxis, the smaller ones, and you're going to save a few quid there as well. But as I've said in my previous videos and some of the tips, Bolt and Grab are essential apps for when you're in Thailand traveling. The majority of the country is serviced by Bolt and Grab, and you can literally, it's basically Uber. It's the basic what we have over here. It's their equivalent. There's two different apps, but I've never been anywhere in the world where it's such a well, I just want to, it's just such a pleasant experience using the app. You have literally the app there, and you're waiting for around about 1 to 2 minutes, and there'll be a taxi with you wherever you're going. That can be if you're going to the beach or you're going back to the airport. And what it does, it gives you exactly the time it's going to take you and the price you're going to pay. So none of this haggling around about, how much stuff is going to cost when you're using Bolt and Grab. It's great because you know what's on that screen you're going to pay, and it doesn't fluctuate whatsoever. You will find if you use meter taxis or just general taxis that you can just grab off the road if you like, give them a shout and whatnot. We did find it better to agree the cost with them just to make sure everything was aligned, because sometimes we got in, the meter said one thing and we were being charged something different. So it's just that obviously it is what it is when you're abroad and you're using taxis. I think we all know the sort of the general rules, but just think around about just making sure. So with regards to the rickshaw type ones, so they're tuk-tuks. Massive in Bangkok. The tuk-tuks are everywhere. Not so much in other areas we found around Thailand. But what I would certainly say with them, we did actually have one bad experience. And and I understand the reasoning for the guy, putting the price up. So we agreed a price for the tuk-tuk, and we were in rush hour Bangkok traffic. And as I'm sure you can imagine, rush hour traffic anywhere is a pain in the backside. But in Bangkok, it is unreal. You're getting nowhere fast. So we'd agreed a price with regards to the trip that we were going on. The guy was a little bit upset because of the traffic, and then when we got out of the actual tuk-tuk, he asked us for I think it was around about 200 or 300 baht extra. 100 baht's £2.20, so you can do the working out. So in the end, we sort of agreed on it and we paid it up. But just be aware that them type of taxis are out there. But again, I understand the reasoning for the guy hyping it up. Maybe he should have said that to us. But look, it is what it is. They've got to earn a living, and being stuck in traffic when you're doing a 30-minute journey, which can take an hour and a half. I get it. So tuk-tuks, really, really pleasant. Some of them, we've used tuk-tuks all over. It's a great way to travel around. You feel like you're almost on a motorbike, but you feel enclosed a little bit safer. Great, just whizzing around through the traffic when you can get through the traffic, and with the wind in your face, so they're quite good. One thing just on taxis. So if you're planning on visiting Pattaya has an excellent setup, and they're called BART buses, basically. So if you imagine Pattaya has a beachfront, which is known as Beach Road, and that basically loops around, and then the road beyond that, the next road is Second Road. And what these BART buses do is they just loop around constantly all day, and there are hundreds of these. So it's a fair old walk from one end of Beach Road to the other. And believe me, we've walked it, and especially in the heat, the BART buses are amazing. You literally just stand there, put your hand out. There'll be a BART bus going past you every 30 seconds. There's that many of them there. You can get on and travel all the length of Beach Road. It does actually stop when you get to Second Road, but you can get straight back on another. And we're talking 10 baht for these, and these are great. So for, let's say, a walk from one end of Beach Road to the other could take you an hour, 40 minutes, depending on how fast you're walking. These will just scoot you up there and you can jump off. You press a buzzer, you jump out, and they're like basically a pickup truck, which have got seats in the back. So really popular, not just popular with tourists as well. They're used by the locals, and you'll see, the school kids, whatever it might be, everyone's using these. So they're really affordable and really worth using when you're in Pattaya. Now, they have similar around different parts of Thailand, such as Koh Samet, the island that we went to. But they're more of a taxi rather than a jump on, jump off service, if that makes sense. But Pattaya, I cannot, big them up enough. The BART buses, they were a godsend. And they are running pretty much 24/7 as well. So they'll get you to and from wherever you want to get to, even in the early hours. So you'd be coming out of I don't know, a pub or whatever it might be, and these are still available to you. So really, really good, and especially a must when you're in Pattaya. So really, really nice. So I mentioned Koh Samet. So Koh Samet's an island. It's around about an hour from Pattaya. It's almost a little bit of an unknown with a lot of people, because when people think about going to Thailand, and especially going to any of the islands, they always think it's the Phuket Islands down south. Now, there's a little bit of a hidden gem with a place called Koh Samet, and I've done a couple of videos that feature Koh Samet. That'll give you a sort of an idea of what it's like. But we have to say the beach in Koh Samet is amazing. We've stayed both times. Once we've been in Thailand, we've stayed both times on the east of the island, which seems to be the popular place where most of the holiday makers go. But you've just got such an amazing, vibrant atmosphere while you're there. There's lots to do in the day. There's lots of beach activities, jet skis, parasailing, and all that malarkey. If you're into it, I'd rather just sit and have a beer and chill out in and out of the water, do a little bit of snorkeling and what have you. But I think one of the key draws for Koh Samet is the amazing island itself, the picturesque views, but it's got such a nice nightlife as well. So as soon as it starts to get dark, what the restaurants do is they almost then sort of go for the second stage of their serving. So they bring all fresh seafood out, barbecues on the front of the beach, and you can literally go and choose your dish. What basically it is, it's a dish with the seafood already ready to go. It's all temperature controlled in ice, so really, it's all so fresh, and you can choose what plate you want. So if you want a platter, and the prices are written on there, and it's really affordable as well for something that you would get in the UK with regards to your lobsters, your prawns, whatever it may be, you'd be paying a good 20, 30 quid for that. Over there, you're probably looking at 8 quid or what have you for these lovely, the freshest seafood you're going to get. And they will cook that there for you. You can watch them cooking it. And I've had a couple of platters since I've been on Koh Samet, and out of this world, really nice. So Koh Samet is really a hidden gem when it comes to visiting the islands. And I would say a lot of people visit from Bangkok and Pattaya because of purely the distance. You're not having to travel the same distance as what you would be if you were going to the islands in Phuket. Uh, and it just makes a lot of sense from Pattaya. Like I say, an hour. I think it's you go to Rayong, a pier, and then you get a boat over. And again, I've done videos of these, and they're on my channel. And I think the prices are included on there, so might be worth a look if you're considering it. But such an atmosphere of chill and just really lovely way to relax and get away from the hustle and bustle of Bangkok or Pattaya. So I can't recommend Koh Samet enough when it comes to an island a getaway. And we normally do 3 to 4 nights while we're in Pattaya. We'll move to Koh Samet, do 3 or 4 nights, and just have a relax and get away from it all. The night scene is relatively chilled out when it comes to having a beer. They have fire shows every night on the beach as well, which are spectacular. So the guys who do the fire shows, they're absolutely amazing. They are professionals, and they will move from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant. So wherever you are on Koh Samet, you're going to get an experience of the fire shows, and they will do that every night. So you've got the opportunity to see that as well in the evenings, which is really nice, and it's nice to chill out. So Koh Samet, a definite thumbs up, a definite we will be going back as well, and worth a visit in my opinion, the Koh Samet side of things. Also, one of another little finds was well, it was what we did this time different to what we did the first time, and that was going to Patong Beach. So we got an internal flight this time from Bangkok, and we went to Phuket. We hired a car. We did the national park, and I'll touch on that in a second. But we finished up in Patong Beach, which was really nice. Very commercial. This is where you've got Bangla Walking Street, you've got the clubs, you've got the bars. Very commercial. However, the beach at Patong Beach was amazing. We stayed in the Holiday Inn Express, and it was probably 200-300 meters from the beachfront, and the beaches were just lovely, really nice. Really, don't get me wrong, quite busy when it comes to it, and more commercial than what you would get in maybe one of the islands. But we found that there was so much to do in Patong Beach, as opposed to a couple of nights where we stayed in Phuket's Old Town. Phuket Old Town is, again, a must-visit place, I would say, for people, but just be mindful that about 10:30, 11 o'clock, everything shuts. And I mean everything. We were literally being pushed out of a restaurant because they were closing up, and we thought the night had just started, really. So the Old Town, although it's amazing with its Portuguese influence, all the architecture, the amazing buildings, the Instagram dream, really, for everyone, with their with the shop fronts and what have you. It's not necessarily somewhere that's going to give you the entertainment in the evenings. So Patong Beach in Phuket did that for us. We're not massive party animals by any means. We'll go out, have a few beers, grab some food. But Patong Beach, you could just move around, and literally, it just felt a nice atmosphere, and it just felt I can't explain it enough to say that you do not feel threatened in any way when when you're out in Thailand. We've like I say, we've traveled different places, and I'm not putting any places down, but sometimes you're in a different country, you can almost feel a little bit I don't know, just maybe on edge with regards to what's going on around you and what have you. But we don't get that feeling in Thailand. It's just a real nice vibe. Everyone is so friendly. Everyone it will help you as well. It's really good. See Magic Merv, worry about pickpockets, but unless you don't get any of that there. So in all honesty, I'm not going to say that that doesn't happen. And again, there are signs up and around saying beware pickpockets as you get in this country. But myself and Joe, the 6 weeks we've been over there, I have not seen one anything with regards to pickpocketing, any trouble whatsoever. Now that might just be coincidence, but we get the feel while we're out there that it is a nice vibe. Look, you'll find on YouTube, you'll find on different social media outlets videos of stuff going on as you do anywhere really. But as I said at the start, this is just what we've experienced, and was conscious when we first started going to Thailand of wearing almost like your money belt, if you like. Now my phone is in my pocket, my wallet's in my pocket, and I've never had no problems. But that's not to say that that doesn't happen. I'm just giving our experience of it not happening to us anytime. So, yeah. What I'm going to mention as well is car hire. So we hired a car when we landed in Phuket. That was done through Booking.com, and it was through a company called Budget Car Rental. And again, this goes back to maybe past experiences. I'm always a little bit wary when it comes to hiring a car. Some of them ask for massive deposits. Some of them are asking, for deposits, information, licenses, all this to be held and what have you. I've got to say, with the hire car in Thailand, it was probably the easiest hire car service I've ever used. So, like I said, I did it on Booking.com, got a really good price. So for 8 days, it was 8 days. It was around about £300 for the car. We got an upgrade on the car as well, so we ended up with a larger car than what we originally went for. And I think I had to. Actually, I don't think there was a deposit that had to be put down on the car. They took our information, they took copies of the license, they didn't ask for the license, as we've had in other countries, and the whole experience was so easy. Handing the car back, I did give it a wash before it went back, just because we'd been up to the national park in Koh Samet, which I'll mention in a minute. So I give it a wash down and handed it back, and there was no problems whatsoever. So really easy, and actually driving in Thailand. So they obviously drive on the same side of the road as we do here in the UK. It was a pleasure to drive. The roads are actually really, really in good condition. People do stick to the actual rules of the road. A total different experience than when we hired a motorbike in India. Wow, that's a different story. But I got pulled over by the police twice while we were in Thailand on this last visit. And all they want to see is that you've got the international driving license or the international driving permit. And that, again, I've covered in one of my videos. It's an essential if you are planning on hiring a motorbike or a car when you're out there. So I would definitely suggest doing a little bit of research into your international driving license. At a roads like motorways, indoor carriageways, or the more B roads. So there are a lot of hello, Dave. How are you, mate? All good, all good. So it depends where you're traveling, to be honest, Merv. If you think about if you're going on the major city to city, there's a lot of like, I'd say, free lanes similar to our motorways. The roads that I was driving on to get up to the national park were obviously smaller roads, but very well maintained, in good order, and speed limits are actually stuck to in Thailand. Uh, Apart from one taxi driver who we were going from Bangkok to Pattaya, he was in one of them new electric BYDs, I think it is, and he was rattling along, I think, at 110 miles an hour at one stage. But there's a lot of cameras there, so he obviously knows what he's doing. But yeah, so it's a mixture, really, Murph, with regards to, I suppose, where you're traveling, what part of the country, and things like that. Cheers, Dave. Appreciate it, mate. It's going all right. I've had Merv has been absolutely brilliant, helping me out with all his tips and giving me some good pointers to try to move it forward. So yeah, just playing it by ear, seeing how things go, and it's quite enjoyable actually. And if I can help anyone, I think I've said it in one of my descriptions. If I can help just one person with one thing about anything travel wise, I'm happy, because that's what it's about, really. It's about sharing experiences, and maybe where I've made mistakes personally, myself and Joe, when we've been over there, just passing them on. So you might save you money. And as I've said before, it might save you time as well, because time's quite important when you're on the holidays. So as I said, hire car, amazing, no problems with it whatsoever. I definitely would do that again if we were going back to Phuket. And when we actually landed in Phuket, we didn't go directly to Patong Beach. We went to the national park, and that's called Koh Samet, and that's probably about, I think it was around about a 2-hour drive from the airport. So it was a bit of a nice way to get into driving over there, because the roads were quite quiet, very picturesque as we drove up into the national park as well. And a lot of people you'll see on their social media accounts, some of the really big travel channels and streamers, say that Khao Sok is one of the most amazing places in Thailand, and I have to agree. Khao Sok National Park, Khao Sok Lake, Khao Sok River, we went on all of them, and it was just out of this world. It's just a relaxation overload. You are away from all that hustle and bustle of Bangkok, Pattaya, the bars, the all the nightlife, and you just strip back to staying. We actually stayed in a jungle retreat, which was amazing. Again, it's in my videos, and that was a place called Khao Sok Legend. £40 a night, amazing price. Your own private little pool. Lovely accommodation overlooking. You're in the middle of the jungle. You can actually hear the gibbons, and stuff like that. It was just unreal. But Khao Sok is definitely, I would say, somewhere where people should be looking to maybe spend some time. People see Phuket and they think, right, I'm going to go to PP, I'm going to go to Krabi and whatnot. But what I would say is just take a look at Khao Sok, because it's absolutely stunning. The Khao Sok, was it a funky gibbon? It might have been. Merv. I can't say I actually saw it, but you could hear them. I think they say that you can hear them singing or whatnot. So I think the only funky gibbon that would have been walking around was me after a few changs, to be honest. But that's a different story. But yeah, Khao Sok, I can't sort of big it up enough. It was really, really nice. A lovely place. Everything's so cheap. So we went on the Khao Sok Lake. We got a long-tail boat, and we went all around. So very touristy in a way, with regards to who's traveling and things like that. Oh, an important question. Can you get Chang in the UK? Because it looks amazing. Do you know what? I've had a chat with another mate of mine, Rob, who frequents Thailand quite often as well. I have not seen Chang in the UK. I'm not sure if you can get it, but certainly it's not available if you go down Tesco's. One of the other beers that is quite big out there, which is Singer. Yeah, we all know Singer. You can get that, and you can get that in most places. But Chang, I've not seen it. And funny enough, it's funny that you mentioned Chang, because I think I actually featured it in one of my recent videos, the night market. Today, and I'll just show you these quickly. I have my Chang socks on, keeping my feet warm because it's a bit chilly today. So funny that you mentioned that, Merv. Yeah, I've not seen it, and if anyone knows if you can get it in the UK, drop a comment because it'd be good to see where you can get it. Because I don't know, I'm not sure if places online would sell it, but it's certainly the go-to beer while I was out in Thailand. I did have Leo as well, but Leo just a little bit stronger. So Chang was my go-to. So that was quite interesting. I'm surprised because Chang used to sponsor Everton. Which isn't near Carlisle. Yeah, very good, very good. No, it's near Crewe actually, isn't it? Not Carlisle. Yeah. So yeah, right. Yeah, they did actually sponsor them. Yeah, I remember that now. I've not, like I say, I've not seen it in the UK. And if anyone has, drop a comment, and yeah, we might be able to have it. Saying that, I'm going to have a drink of my coffee. So yeah, really, really impressed with Koh Samet National Park. Do a little bit of searching on it because I think it's definitely worth a visit if you're going to be doing Phuket. Uh, One of the other bits that I just wanted to touch on as well, which was quite interesting while we were out there, was the food, the drink, the cost of everything. So you'll see lots and lots of videos and lots of people saying that it's very, very cheap. And as I'd said in my tip video with regards to saving money, it is absolutely a different level of cost price wise when it comes to food and drink out there. But it's not necessarily always cheaper if you're going to go to your mainstream Western outlets, if you know what I mean. Just Googled it, and apparently you can get it at Tesco's extra stores in the world food aisle. Alternatively, you can buy it online. See, Merv, don't mess around. He's already there in the background, going away. I'll have a look at that then once the live finishes, because I wouldn't mind getting a stock up of Chang just to bring back a few memories. Thanks for that, mate. Appreciate that. So where was I? Yeah, so I'm talking about food and drink. So, and let's actually, because we're talking about Chang, let's just talk about the price of alcohol. So you know, you can get your alcohol from all your bars and your pubs and what have you. And on average, I'm going to give you an average across all the different places. You're looking around about, for a bottle of beer, probably about £2. I'm going to say, if you're buying it from a bar or whatnot. Which is cheaper than the UK, but it can mount up if you're having a few over the night. They do the spirits and do the local spirits and then the premium spirits. I didn't really have that, so I couldn't really say how much they were. But I suppose when you're looking at the other elements of food and drink, you've got the 7-Eleven, which is massive. Everywhere you go in Thailand, there is a 7-Eleven. Literally, in one of my videos, you will see, and this was on Koh Samet, the 7-Elevens opposite each other, literally within 5, 10 meters of each other. You can pick up, it's basically your convenience store, your Tesco, your Co-op, or what it is in the UK. But you can pick up, your food in there and your drink in there. So a can of beer, I think, was around about 50 baht, 40 baht, somewhere around about that price. So you're probably looking at around about £1. So when it comes to alcohol, you definitely will be able to get it a bit cheaper than what you can in the UK. But again, as with everything, it will fluctuate depending on where you are, what establishment you're in, and maybe the time of year even as well might make a difference. But what I wanted to just cover was food. So Thai food is very, very cheap. The street vendors, the street food, you can pick up off the street vendors chicken, pork, all, whatever it might be, really, really cheap. And it's really, really good. It's cooked fresh in front of you. We've had no problems with any food poisoning or anything like that over it when we've been in Thailand. So that type of food, really, really cheap, really affordable, and absolutely beautiful. If you like your spices, you're in luck because a lot of it is really spicy, which does me fine because I do like my spice. But if you're not really a lover of Thai food, or if you're not, if it's not your thing, the spice or Thai food isn't your thing, you might well be looking at thinking, right, I'm going to use the other food outlets. Because let's be clear, while you're out there, you've got your McDonald's, you've got your Burger Kings, you've got your KFCs, and we did use them while we were out there because some days you just feel that you want a break from the Thai food, and that's what we did couple of times. Uh, but when it comes to the prices, you're not getting the mega cheap prices when you go to them establishments. Yes, I believe it's cheaper than the UK, a few quid cheaper for meals and whatnot, but not at the price of local Thai food. Uh, and probably people might say, are the McDonald's menus as the same in the UK? The majority of stuff, Merv, is, if I'm being honest, you've got your Big Macs, you've got all your fries and whatnot. But what I do find is they'll have a little bit of additions. So they'll have sort of a chicken dish or a rice dish in addition to the menu itself. And that's the same for Burger King as well, actually, because we went into Burger King and that had the same sort of thing. Your Whoppers are on there, but there's also little additions that you don't get in the UK. So very similar with just a few bits on top, which is quite different because when we went to India, they were predominantly different, almost different menus in total, really. Whereas Thailand, I think, is a bit more commercialized to the Western side of things, and they had them few bits on there. And people might say, why on earth are you eating Burger King and McDonald's when you're out in Thailand? And again, I love Thai food. I love spicy food, but it just comes that sort of break when you think, do you know what? I don't fancy noodles today. I don't fancy a spicy pad thai or whatever it may be. McCat meal. Well, everything that I had over there was all right. Like I said, I didn't end up with any dodgy stomachs or whatnot. But you never know. Uh, so yeah, why am I eating in Burger King or McDonald's while I'm over there? I just wanted a break, from one meal to just get down and maybe just have some fries or whatever it was. I have to say, the food offering in Thailand beats anywhere we've been. It doesn't matter what food you like or you dislike, you will be catered for in Thailand because it's just the options are all there. A lot of the menus are very focused on understanding that the Westerners are there and they actually cater for the people that are visiting. So you'll have your English breakfasts, you'll have your fish and chips advertised, you'll have Sunday roast advertised as well. So all that's out there. But on the other hand, as well, the traditional sort of restaurants over there are out of this world. And one of my previous videos, we had a traditional Thai meal. We had something that's called Morning Glory. No, it's not what you're thinking. I think I'll put that on the title of my video. But it was a spicy sort of vegetable dish with green veg, and it was lovely. We had a vegetable rice, noodles, and it absolutely lovely food. And all the other food out there. I like seafood, so I was eating quite a lot of prawns. Was having seafood dishes, fish dishes. Easy for me to say, fish dishes as well. But as I said, no matter where you go, you'll have anywhere you go, you'll have the option to eat whatever you want when it comes to the food and it comes to the drink side of things. And again, as I said, and I can't emphasize this enough, really, we went to many night markets when we were in Thailand. Night markets are a massive feature wherever you are in the country, and the food outlets they're just so immaculately clean. They're maintained. Everything is fresh. I'll be quite honest. I was a little bit worried about eating at sort of them places before we went to Thailand because you think to yourself, how can they maintain hygiene levels and whatnot? But they managed to do it, and everything is just really in good order. Everything's clean, and like I said, we had no problems with any sort of food related illnesses while we're over there. And the night markets are actually something that's going to touch on just before we finish off the live stream, really. So, as I said, night markets, massive, massive feature of Thailand. They're not necessarily all about food. They're not necessarily all about shopping. They're just a mixture. And the night markets are really, really good because what it allows you, they better have gone through food safety level 4 training. Check the colour of his eyes of the rats. A little bit of an in-house joke there from when it comes to the rat's eyes. No, yeah, I didn't actually see any rats while we were over there, which is quite interesting. But I would always check the colour of their eyes, man. Don't worry about that, mate, because that's a telltale giveaway of a private joke there. So sorry about that. Night markets, a massive, massive feature, and like I say, they are excellent. So in the evenings, it cools down, and these are the hive of activity. People just flock to them. People flock to them to have their evening meals, to have a drink, to do a little bit of shopping. And you'll find a mixture of tourists, you'll find locals, all, all frequenting the markets. And it's really, really nice. Great atmosphere. It's very child friendly, kid friendly. There's lots of families. Uh, you can grab a beer, have a walk around with a beer, or you can sit down. But there's just so much variety, and the food offerings are out of this world. You go. I actually go to the night market thinking, right, I'm going to try a little bit of everything, but it's so nice. By the time you've had 2 or 3 bits, I start to get full. So, but you can do it overnights if you're going back to it. Some of the night markets are on every single night. Some of them are on specific nights of the week. So just do your research when it comes to it. I suppose the most well-known market that we visited was one in Bangkok, which is called Chatuchak Market. It's advertised as the biggest market in the world. I can't remember the amount of street vendors and stalls it said there are, but there are thousands. It is unreal. That is a weekend market, and I think it's a Saturday and Sunday it's on, and I think it shuts up and starts closing up around about 6 p.m. So it's quite a day sort of event when it comes to it. But I have never walked around the place. It is just vast, and every single, just so much variety with regards to what's being sold. I'm not going to start even trying to list it, but you mention it, it's there, from anything from your clothing to your tech, uh, to food, to there's even a pet section where they sell pets. It is unreal. So might be one just to have a look at if you're thinking and you're in Bangkok over the weekend. Chatuchak Weekend Market, definitely worth a look around. It will be quite a good few hours, so just pencil in a good few hours, and it is mega, mega hot as well. Hence why there's many stalls selling fans, because you will need it. Very, very warm, but again, hustle and bustle, great atmosphere, music, food, shopping. Yeah, just a great way to finish off your holiday. And that's what we did actually. We ended up in Bangkok. We finished up in Chatuchak. We went there and got a few little bits, then a few last bits of souvenirs and stuff like that before we headed back. And while we were in Bangkok this time, one of the things we're really glad we did, which we didn't do last time, was use the actual underground and the sky train. So the underground is absolutely, once again, they've got it. They've nailed it in Thailand. Very, very good order, very clean, no rubbish. Runs to the second with regards to your scheduling of the stops. Catered for all over Bangkok. Similar to the London Underground. I would say that it's better organised though, because literally you are told where to stand to allow people to get off, and then you walk straight on. Very, very interesting. I think I covered it in my Grand Palace video, but I was really impressed with just the cleanliness, the price, and just the organisation. Really, really, for such a busy, city, just the organisation was absolutely great. Skytrain, you'll see the Skytrain moving around Bangkok. essentially it's a sky train. But again, real good coverage. Definitely worthwhile in rush hour traffic, and this is where we made our time up using the MRT and the BTS SkyTrain when we were in Bangkok. So we did use taxis, don't get me wrong, but it was quite easy just to to navigate the undergrounds. That was one of them things that where you also get a little bit daunting. You think to yourself, oh, I don't really know about the undergrounds, but everyone was so friendly. We would go in and it'd be a busy carriage, and people were saying to us, "Oh, would you like to sit down?" And it should be the way around. We should be offering the seats, to them individuals. But again, just a real friendly atmosphere. And we finished up in Bangkok. We decided that on our flight back, because we had a morning, well, it was a mid-morning, or sorry, early afternoon. We got to the airport mid-morning to use the Miracle Lounge. And again, one of my videos covers a review on the Miracle Lounge. Really, really impressive. The Miracle Lounges in Bangkok Airport are dotted around every single section of the airport. So depending on where you're flying from, whatever gate it may be, you'll have a Miracle Lounge within close vicinity. They were excellent. The food offering, the drink offering, as I said, I touched on it earlier, really, really good. And the price was excellent, £23. So I definitely got my money's worth when it came to the Miracle Lounge, traveling back from Bangkok, coming back to Heathrow. Right, guys, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you for everyone who's interacted. Thank you, Merv. Thank you, Dave, for dropping on, having a little bit of banter. It's all good fun. Hopefully that's answered any questions. But if you watch this back and you've got any questions, just pop them in the comments. And as I said, I'll give you my honest opinion, my answer. I'm not saying that I'm an expert. I'm certainly not. But what it has done, hopefully it might have just saved you, even if it's a couple of quid or a couple of hours, because time is important as well. And just before I finish off, guys, I just want to say thank you for everyone who's taken the time to watch any of the videos, liked, commented, shared, and subscribed. I am massively appreciative of every individual that's taken the time to do that. It's very much appreciated. And what I would hope to do is try to get content that people can benefit from and enjoy watching. So if you've got any tips or if you've got any comments, I will take them on board. And again, drop them in the comments or the chat. Thank you, Merv. Looking forward to the next one. Yeah, and thank you for watching, taking the time, mate, and obviously the interaction as well. So I'm going to call it a day there, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.